it's not about doing it right. Don't do that to yourself because you're going to kill the joy if you focus on, oh, did I do it right? Is my technique right? Okay, that's part of it, but that's not the highest form you should be going for. How does it feel in your body?
Right.
What does it feel like to move that muscle? That's cool. Isn't that cool? You can do that.
Right. You mentioned feminine because we're strong women, because we're resilient, we can take on so much. I think we're bombarded with these masculine messages of the hustle and, girl boss. And I'm not saying like, I'm all for taking control of your life, like doing the thing, being, not letting anybody stop you. And at the same time, I feel like we're sometimes afraid to express our femininity because of all of these messages, these masculine, hard messages. So
yeah,
what would you say to that?
The feminine is inferior and the masculine is the superior approach. The feminine is weak and the masculine is strong. And, I think we're all very confused about the masculine and the feminine, and that we're different but equal, but we're not the same. And when we try to be the same as the masculine, we lose our power.
That needs to be repeated right there.
When we try to embody the masculine, we lose our own unique flavor of power. What power looks like in a woman looks very different than what it looks like in a man, but it's equally powerful. And we try to copy what they're doing, we drain our power. And the feminine can look fierce too in its own way.
100%. I love that. And so to be able to be out there and to be kicking ass and to be resilient and to be a grown ass woman and come back and really embrace the feminine side of you, in your body and the movement and like what makes us unique and different is powerful.
Yeah. Like our intuition, for example, our intuition is naturally more accessible and developed. And like, sometimes, for example, when I've had my period, I'm trying to hustle through and push that part of my body aside. And I had this epiphany one day that when I have my period, I'm actually more creative and intuitive. And had I not tried to just hustle through, I probably would have come up with some great ideas.
Right.
If I was in my feminine and like, oh, let me just be in this dreamy state that I'm in and see, but I probably would have had some great epiphanies and breakthroughs.
Right. Such a great point. So were you always connected to your body? Like, how did you get into this? Were you just born one of those amazing people? How did you get here? Take me back.
So I actually fell in love with belly dancing when I was like 10 years old. My dad took us to this Moroccan restaurant in Las Vegas, where I'm from. And I remember the belly dancer coming out and just being absolutely mesmerized by her. Like she was just total goddess. And she came to our table afterwards, after her performance, and she took off her necklace and she gave it to me right there.
Wow.
And I still have that necklace 38 years later.
Beautiful.
That's where it all started. That's where it was awakened in me. And I was always into dance and fitness and moving because it was my safe place. That's where I felt like I could get away from whatever emotional turmoil or situations in my family that I was in that I didn't feel comfortable with. I could move. And when I felt like I was moving, I felt like I was free. And when I was dancing, I felt completely free. And that's what I want to share, that gift of like, you can be totally within yourself and connected to your creativity and how you want to move and how you want to express yourself. It's no different than having any other creative hobby. It's just that your body is your instrument. It's your tool.
I love
and
that.
It feel powerful.
Yeah. And so you didn't get into belly dancing at 10 years old, right? So how did you kind of come back to it?
I was always into like fitness and going to the gym and stuff like that. Cause again, that was my comfort zone and where I felt happiest. But it wasn't until 97 when I took my first class at college at UC Santa Barbara. And then I kind of did it like off and on. But when I broke up with my fiance and I moved to San Diego and was starting my acupuncture practice, I just poured myself into it because I needed an outlet. And the cool thing about belly dance is it's also a really cool community of women where you can feel supported and connected with other women in a positive way instead of a competitive way, which is how I think a lot of women relate to each other, is where we're in competition with each other.
Right.
Whereas a lot of belly dance communities, most of them I would say, is very like sisterhood and supporting each other and supporting each other and our bodies, celebrating the diversity of forms we all have, the shapes, the sizes, where if a woman has curves, she's celebrated. There's no particular size you need to be in belly dance. In fact, if you have curves, it actually looks better because you can see the movements more.
Right. I've seen that where it's, somebody who would be considered plus size moving and you're just like, wow. I mean, it's just so powerful. How does your background in acupuncture, is there any sort of connection? Because obviously you know the human body, you know what our challenges are, what we can do and what we're capable of. How did that sort of like morph into this?
More and more as time goes on, I start to see how energy works in the body through belly dance and how it can bring our energy into balance. So like, for example, shimmying. Shimmying is a great way to move stagnant energy in your body, like call it chi stagnation. Most of us, I would say it's safe to say 99% of us have chi stagnation because we're stressed. But if you shimmy for just a few minutes, energetically, you're going to start to move that energy through your body.
Is shimmying something everyone can do, or is that something that's like beyond?
Yeah, I could show when we're done with the interview, I can show that.
Will you teach me?
Yeah, totally.
Let's try it. Let's try it.
Let's do it.
Okay.
So when you shimmy, you're basically just moving your knees back and forth. Like, I know this sounds kind of crass, but when you have to pee and you just naturally do that, that's pretty much what it is you're just moving your knees just back, and you just get into a rhythm with it. Yeah, over time. But that's what a shimmy is. When you see, if they're just moving faster, but it's really just coming from the knees, just going back. And you just try to let your hips kind of release.
I'm shimmying.
Yeah, you're shimmying, exactly. Yeah, and just a few minutes of this will move energy throughout your entire body.
Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
what else can any of us?
Yeah, so there's some moves that are just super fun, iconic belly dance movements that we do. So for example, one of them it's called a step hip. So all that is it starts from like a step, touch. So you just step, touch, step, touch, step.
This is like the junior high dance that we all did, right?
Yeah, we're just gonna modify it a little bit. And then every time that we touch, instead of just touching, we're gonna lift the hip up. Step, hip, step, hip, step, hip. Yeah, step, hip. Yes.
Keep my arms up.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah. We have like twist movements where we put all our weight on one leg. Mm-hmm. Just twist our hip forward and back. So this is a hip twist. Yeah, exactly.
I'm ready for your class.
Yeah, your belly dance. You're doing it.
So fun. Wait, do you have one of those little skirts
Yeah.
you can show us?
These hip scarves.
It's called a hip scarf?
Yeah, it's called a hip scarf or a coin belt. And you can either tie it in the front. I usually tie it on the side. And you just put it right around at your hip level. And it makes it easier to feel the movements because you have a little bit of weight and you can see the movement. So it's kind of like a feedback tool as well. And it just makes belly dancing more fun. So then when you shimmy, you can hear it. You can feel it more. That's what makes a hip scarf really fun. Okay. And then when you twist, you can see more of the movements. Yeah.
Now I got to get a hip scarf.
To replace the one you gave away.
I know. I'll have to tell that story at the top of the show. So, oh my gosh, that's so fun. And I think I love the scarf. And so it can be something you can incorporate just in your day by yourself, or you can join your community.
I belly dance in those spare transitional moments during the day. You know, when you're finishing one task and you haven't started something else, that's a
Mm-hmm.
great time to belly dance. When my food is in the microwave, I literally am just moving. Those are just spare minutes, but it adds up. And
Yeah.
I'm not exaggerating. I tell this to people all the time. I got good at my shimmies in those spare moments. Not like half-hour long practice sessions, just the little moments add up. And that's true with so many things in our life. It's small things over time that add, not the big things.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And so many of us are sitting at home in our desks. Like I notice when you're in an office and you get up and you go to the proverbial water cooler or to the bathroom, or you get some steps in, right? I wear my Apple Watch but when you're at home and working at home and talking on Zoom and whatever it is, the movement is just decreased so much. So if we
Right.
can incorporate little bits throughout our day, plus it's fun, put on some music.
Exactly. Yeah, you put on music that you enjoy. And I really emphasize that. It's like what music, if you put it on, it's almost hard for you to sit still. Put on
Yes.
that music and just focus on those little transitional times in your day. Like make it a little ritual. Okay, I just finished a call. So I'm just going to do a few minutes. Like as you can see, even just the 2 minutes that we did, it shifted my energy, probably your
Yes.
energy. Just two
Yes.
minutes. 2 minutes.
Yes. It's so much fun. And so how do people find you and be part of your community?
Yeah. So my program that strengthens the pelvic floor can be found at thebellydancesolution.com. And my comprehensive Learn Belly Dance program, and I teach women how to DIY your own belly dance routines in a really simple way. That's femininefireofficial.com.
I love it. Feminine fire. You visualize exactly what it is that you're channeling inside yourself. It's so powerful.
Yeah. And every woman, that's your birthright.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we start to forget that, right? We listen to the messages and everything out there. It's just such noise. And so to come back to yourself and to do something for you, I mean, this is the time. There is no better time than right now to do something for yourself.
It's essential. And when we're more grounded and we're more connected to ourselves, we make better decisions.
You're right. I never even put that together, that when you feel connected, when you feel powerful, when you feel mind, body, spirits all working together, the choices that you make versus when you feel disconnected. Because when we feel disconnected, we're making choices to sort of numb that.
Right. And from where? Where are those choices coming from? Like, I
Mm,
mean, you can change the whole trajectory of your life by just getting back in touch with yourself.
yeah, that's so true. Do you do any in-person teaching?
I would love to do more of that, actually. I would love to do more like retreats or small group stuff. Yeah. I mean, that would be amazing. I would
Awesome.
invite that in more in the future.
I'm putting it out there right now when things are a bit more aligned with having a grown ass woman's guide retreat, which is
That would,
part of something I want. You will be there.
I will definitely be there. Just tell me where and when in the future I'll be
Okay.
there.
Awesome. Jennifer, thank you so much. This has
Thank you so
been
much, Jackie.
so cool. And if go follow her, I'll put all of the links in the show notes. Go check it out. I mean, if for no other reason, I mean, the pelvic floor thing is just like when I read that.
I know, and they actually did a study about it in the Journal of Physical Therapy Science, where they actually studied the pelvic floor in belly dance. So it's even in
Wow.
the journal.
Yeah. You've got science to back you up. So
Exactly. That's always a good thing.
because, people are like, I don't think so. It's like, science. Yeah,
That's what people need. Yeah.
exactly. Exactly. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jackie. I appreciate it.